Welcome back. I hope you're having a great day. This is a super short introduction to the states of elements. Now we've been learning about the elements, where they are on the periodic table and which ones are diatomic and stuff. And we've also learned the three states of matter. So I thought it would be a nice little chance to teach you about which elements occur as solids or gases or liquids. Now, the definition of room temperature is kind of a little vague. It's contentious because what is the temperature of your room? It might be cold or hot depending on the country or time of year. So anyways, for sure, we list two elements. One is mercury. Mercury is a liquid at room temperature, so we can write it simple as just Hg with an L in parentheses. L stands for liquid. Now, it's a metal and it conducts electricity, so it's used in these old thermostats. Now, mercury is a toxic metal, so it's been replaced by other electronic means to control the temperature in your house. Let me try to show you one of these. I believe, yes, there you go. You see that little ball of silver rolling around in there? So that right there is mercury that's in this little glass ampule. And as the temperature rises or lowers, the mercury is going to fall down the hill, and there's two wires inside that glass tube that make the electrical circuit connect. And then your heater turns on because it's cold in your house. So that's really neat. Bromine. This is another liquid, all right? Now, it's extremely corrosive. It has, so it dissolves the caps and the safety, seals and everything so well that we don't have it in the lab to show you today. But it's reddish brown in color. Now, there's not much to look at here, but this is a perfect example of a liquid element. Bromine's diatomic, remember? So we can write the formula as Br2 with a subscript 2, which I didn't have the correct on this slide, and then parentheses L, which indicates liquid bromine. All right? So you need to memorize mercury and bromine, and you can highlight and find those on your periodic table. All right? Now, one of these really cool ones is gallium. Now, gallium is a solid at room temperature, so we don't say it's a liquid element. But guess what? It melts very near room temperature. Actually, in a quite warm room that's warmer than 85 degrees Fahrenheit or 30 degrees Celsius, it would melt. So this element's non-toxic, and it's super fun to play with because it'll melt from the heat of your hand. So you can put a solid amount of gallium on your hand and then just let it melt away, and it's kind of fun. And then you can pour it into a beaker or something like that and let it refreeze. Now, you might think, well, this is just for playing, but it turns out that low melting point alloys have been used in fire sprinklers. So if a fire from this, the lab or something like that spreads to the ceiling, it can activate these sprinklers, right? There will be a valve that melts, the water will flow through there, and then we'll spray water onto the office spaces or a factory floor or whatever, okay? So those are fire sprinklers. Now, what about gases? Your gaseous elements are in a couple different locations in your periodic table. First, let's talk about the noble gases, okay? Noble gases are found here on the right-hand side of your periodic table. They're all room temperature. The noble gases include helium. This is chopped off my periodic table. They include helium, neon, argon, krypton, and xenon, and radon. Radon's radioactive. Now, we don't know about the oganescium, the last element there in the series, because we only made like one or two atoms of that super radioactive element. So we know for sure helium through radon are gases. And they're highlighted there on this periodic table on the slide in magenta. I look forward to seeing what type of pencil pen color you decide to use. All right. Now, some, but not all, pay very close attention to this. Some, but not all of the diatomic gases are gases at room temperature. Okay, the diatomic elements, I mean. Now, these include hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and chlorine. And they're highlighted in this periodic table on the slide here in blue. Okay, so hydrogen, we discussed, is on the top left. Nitrogen is kind of on the right. Oxygen further to the right, fluorine further to the right, and chlorine below that. Okay, So those are the diatomic elements that are gases. Okay, so those are all your gas elements. Now, solid elements are kind of the default in the periodic table. They're everything else, and they're mostly metals. An example would be cobalt, as you can see here on this slide. Not very interesting to look at, but it's a picture of cobalt in various types of forms. There's a really shiny cube there off to the left there if you want to see what it looks like, all buffed up and shined. So that in a nutshell is which elements are solid, liquid, or gas at room temperature. Thanks for watching, and please consider subscribing. Have a great day, everybody.